Hi and welcome back to Sound Dada. I am Malay, and today we have a very, very, very special guest with us, a true wandling in the field of music and in life as well. My partner in crime, explorer, violinist, multi-talented person, and the founder of Pune School of Music, Shardul Bapat.
Hello. Thank
Hello,
you for
hello,
having me.
So, how are you?
It's been a
Bari?
long day. It's been a long week. It's been a long month.
So we are just doing this shoot after his classes, which is what he takes from 3 to 9 in Pune at Pune School of Music, and we are literally doing this podcast after his teaching hours. So if he looks a little drained out or I look a little fresh, please, yeah. So how do you juggle between so many things?
My go-to for this is barely.
Ba-
Barely. I barely
juggle.
I barely juggle. I barely manage to do a lot of these things because
Okay.
I feel like a lot of every single thing that I have been doing or that I do is a full-time job in itself. Like teaching is a full-time profession, or running a school, or managing managing different teachers, managing their schedules and students and all. Like that in itself is a full-time job.
Correct.
Being a musician, it comes with right.
Yeah.
It is a full-time job in itself because you have to do
Yeah.
a certain amount of networking. You have to practice. You have to keep exploring, and so that in itself is a full-time job.
Yeah.
And these are some of the hats I wear. There's a few more happening behind the scenes. It's so it does get it does get a little overwhelming sometimes. It gets a little hectic sometimes, but there's something I just feel like I am just a very passionate person, and I don't want to put myself in one
Restricted
box.
to one, yeah.
I don't want to be shoved into one box. I want to say yes to as many
Things coming your way.
as many opportunities that come my way. So I find it very hard to say no to things, and which is where a lot of these things have sort of happened as well. Ki maybe it's not necessarily something that I wanted to do, or in the moment felt I didn't want to do, or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've said yes to a project, and I did it anyway. I
Yeah.
enjoyed it a lot, and now it has become a part of me.
Correct.
So I feel like saying yes to
Yes.
things is important.
Amazing. We have this thing, like every other musician is a teacher, right? We have learned from many other people, and they say when you gain knowledge, you better give. Okay, so a lot of people who are performers or musicians, like I would say more than 50% of them teach. Yeah, and it's also a way to sustain and all of
course.
that. But you started an entire school. So what was the reason behind it?
I feel like music education it's imparted in a certain fashion in our country. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just I feel like maybe I could do it a little differently. Again, this is entirely only my opinion, and you're free to disagree with it, and you're probably right to disagree with it. But to me, the idea of grades or numbers and percentages and for art just it just doesn't sit right with me. Okay? Art is we keep saying and hearing hundreds of times that art is subjective.
Yeah.
But then there's somebody sitting there with a pen and paper, objectively giving you
Grades.
85% or 45% or whatever. So there's something about that idea that didn't quite sit right with me. I realized that my thought process when I'm appearing for an exam versus my thought process when I'm preparing for a performance are very different. There's certain risks that I would take as a performer, but not take as a person appearing for an examination, because it's a risky choice. It's my interpretation. I want to be able to play it that way because this is how I feel the message of the composer is, or what I want to say through this piece. But when you're appearing for an examination, it's about oh, it has to be played technically right. If you play it like this, it's right. So the idea behind the school was to get, to step away from the examination route. I think there's more than enough schools that are taking care of exams.
Yeah.
Here, sorry.
I just wanted to ask you this. Basically, you teach classical, Western classical, right? But Western classical, there's something called as Trinity. Okay. And then there are multiple schools. You come from Suzuki School of Method, right? Are they related? No.
All of them are ways of teaching Western classical.
Correct.
They're means to the same end.
Correct. So all of them have exams. So how do y'all get graded then?
So the thing with Suzuki Method was it does not have grading. Okay. And that is like Dr. Suzuki, and his philosophy has been a big part of the way that I also look at music education, because the Suzuki Method does not have examinations. At the end of each level or each book, you have to perform the pieces from that book. You have to put up a recital. Now, making mistakes is a part of a recital. You're going to make some mistakes, right? But just because you've made a mistake does not mean that, you won't be given a certificate. There's no grading. There's no system. So
everybody gets a certificate?
Yeah. As long as you perform.
Oh. So I just have to go there, stand on the stage and hold and
you have to play the pieces though. You can't not play the pieces and get the certificate. So you have to play the pieces. But what's happening is, because you're thinking about performing, you are thinking from the point of view of a performer, right? And that is what music is to a lot of us. The whole point of music is to perform. Now, you may perform for 10 people or you may perform for yourself, right? Even playing to yourself is a performance. You're performing for somebody. So you need to have the thought process of a performer. Because the moment you get into the thought process of pleasing an examiner, that's a whole different route. Then you're not expressing yourself, you're expressing what somebody else wants to hear, which is, I don't know, are you true to yourself as an artist if you're doing what somebody else wants you to do instead of what you want to do?
So I have a question there. So this is when it comes to grading or like an exam.
Yeah.
But when you're actually performing for an audience, do you go to please the audience or do you play for yourself?
I think all of us have a balance that we try to strike between these two, because you can't play something that's entirely alienating, right, to an audience. It has to be familiar to an audience as well. But at the same time, if I feel like this needs to be played the way I want to do it, I will still take that creative liberty to do it the way I want to.
You and me have had like crazy moments on stage. He's my partner when it comes to like having a lot of fun on stage. Okay, all the other wandlings,
cutting out this part.
But the thing is, do you ever make mistakes on stage?
Of course.
And when you make mistakes, what goes in your mind? Because see, I'll come from this point of view. So a lot of our young listeners, they're going to like probably go and perform, right? And one thing is for sure, which is stage fright.
Yeah.
No matter how big you are, how small you are, everybody has got stage fright.
Of course.
At least for the first one song or first 5 minutes or like till the time you ease in. And that is when you probably make mistake. Okay. And then you ease into the set and then you make a mistake and then you feel nervous again. Right? So how do you tackle that? What do you do?
I think there's so much discourse that has happened about making mistakes, and I don't think I'm going to add anything that hasn't already been said about the nature of mistakes. But see, I won't lie. I don't think I'm perfect with. See, all of us make mistakes. Everybody's made mistakes on stage.
Humans.
Yeah, right. But and I can't say I'm perfect when it comes to being unaffected by it. Like you hear, or in an ideal scenario, the moment you've made a mistake, you want to let go and move on, so that the mistake you've made doesn't affect your set. But that's not how the mind works. That's not how any of us work. More often than not, a mistake, especially if you've made a mistake early on in the set, is gonna stay with you throughout the duration of that performance, because you're just going to be thinking about it. And the more you're thinking about what you're doing, like the less you're thinking about what you're doing right now and thinking about, oh, I made that mistake, you're bound to make another one. So I feel like that the age-old advice of, just move on, get past it is, no matter how hard it is, it's extremely important to kind of pay heed to that advice. I feel like the moment we say don't is a weird one. Like don't say don't think about it. The moment I tell you don't think about something is exactly what you're going to think about. Go, right? So don't say to yourself, okay, oh, I'm not going to think about the mistake. Instead, what I try to do is I am going to pay attention to what I'm doing right now. And that automatically makes you stop thinking about before. But I'm not telling myself to not think about it. I'm telling myself to pay more attention to what I'm doing right now.
It's like driving, no? Like, in a way, you are in your own zone. When you are listening to something and the entire band is cohesive, like it's like the journey is so smooth. But the minute there is a pothole, you are like,
correct.
It's similar. Right. So how do you inculcate all of this in PSM, which is Pune School of Music, and how do you train your students for this?
One of the most important things that I do is, again, these are students, right? They are making mistakes. They're making mistakes hundreds of times a day.
And that's where they'll learn.
That's the only way to learn, right? The only way to... So what I try to do with my students is, anytime they make a mistake, I'm not bringing up, oh, you've not been practicing. Oh, how could you make this mistake? You've played this piece 100 times. How are you making this mistake? I don't want to get into that space, because all of us have made mistakes in pieces that we've played 100 times. Right? You could, right. You could practice something hundreds and thousands of times and still make a mistake you've never made before. So
why do you think that happens?
I wish any of us knew, right? Because the nature of mistakes, I think there's 1,000 factors that go into it. What are you thinking about in that second? And sometimes you could be completely focused on your instrument, and there's this moment of hyper awareness, like, these are my fingers. Wait, do I know what I'm supposed to be doing?
I know
my fingers. You'll just panic looking at your own fingers, thinking,
I know what you mean.
Wait, I know this piece. Suddenly it's like that pothole thing that you just said. It's like, your body knows how to play this piece. You're going in kind of an autopilot, and then suddenly you're like, whoa, and then you just start questioning, do I know anything? Do I know how to play this instrument? Do I even know what's coming up next? And the moment you start hyper fixating on that, the worse it's going to get. So you can't even give the advice of be completely present, because sometimes being completely present comes with this added layer of hyper awareness, which also you want to stay away from. You kind of want to let your hands and body do its thing without really interfering too much, but without letting your thoughts go somewhere else, because the moment that happens, you're making a mistake. So it's you're walking this very thin rope.
You
don't want to be on either side. So with students, I think what I try to do is get rid of the pressure. Even if you make a mistake, I want the students that come here to feel safe enough that even if they've made a mistake, they know that I'm not going to shout at them or penalize them for making a mistake. You've made a mistake, acknowledge it, right? This is you made some mistake. Let's play it again, because playing it again is going to help you get closer to fixing that mistake. That's it. We're not going to get into, you don't, तुला कळत कसं नाही, तुला जमत कसं नाही, practice का नाही करत.
Nothing.
There's no need for any of that kind of talk.
You teach violin. You have other teachers coming in teaching all of that, other instruments. You teach a solo instrument. Music in a whole is a group activity. How do you make sure your students come together as a group? Because even if you think of as a quartet, There are 4 people playing together, or a string section.
Yeah.
So many people playing together, or even a band.
Yeah.
So how do you train students? Because you are going for a solo instrument. So what is the idea behind it?
So again, like you said, music is about people coming together.
Yes.
You cannot possibly only learn it in a silo. You can't play it just by yourself. It's people coming together and performing something. That is where a lot of joy lies. Like, I know how much joy I get from being on stage with all of you guys, and it's I and that is what I want my students to have.
Correct.
Right? Not the stress of examinations, but the joy of that. Like, I want more students to feel the joy that I feel when I'm in a room jamming with other musicians, or when I'm on stage with some of my favorite people and playing for God knows how many people. It doesn't matter. It's about coming together. Yeah. So in the other classroom, we have a bookshelf. We've got nearly 120, 150 songbooks. So the way we teach music here is not only this is the syllabus, this is what you're going to do. Instead, we have 150 songbooks with different eras, different genres, different composers, some classical, some contemporary, some rock and roll, 50s, 60s, 80s, metal, this and that. Like, so different genres based on whatever anybody is interested in. And these songbooks have the lyrics to the songs, they have the chord charts, and they have staff notation. So a violin student who knows the basics of reading staff notation can come and try to play the line that's written in the staff. A guitar student comes along, plays what's written in the chord chart. A piano student comes along, they know how to read the chord charts as well. So now suddenly the point of this jam room is not for it's not for professional musicians. This jam room is for students, where students can turn up there with no plan, pick up a songbook, 3-4 of them sit together, try to figure this thing out together, listen to the song a few times on the PAs, take this book and try it out by themselves. So there's a TV screen that's been put up, so 2-3 people can look at the same. Somebody can be looking at the book, somebody can be looking at the screen, and everybody kind of comes together and learns to play with each other. Nice. It doesn't need to be taught. Nobody came and taught us how to play with each other, right? It's just, we just sat there one day and brought out our instruments, and it just kind of happened.
So I have one more very interesting question. Like, they usually say, there has to be a chemistry between musicians. Because obviously there are differences, creative differences, like a drum and bass goes together. So how do you figure that out? Okay, I am compatible with this particular musician.
I think for me, it goes well before we've even opened the instruments. If I'm supposed to meet with another musician for a project, for a jam, whatever. It's the chai that you're having before you get into the jam room, before you bring out your instruments. There's a conversation that happens.
How well you get along.
Yeah, that is going to translate into music, because I look at music as a language, and as do a lot of people. So improvising, for instance, I look at it as right now we don't have a script in front of us. We're just kind of talking, and we're bouncing off of each other, off of what both of us are saying.
Correct.
Right? There's barely a script. You might have a general idea of how you want this conversation to go, but beyond that, neither of us have the specifics listed down. Both of us are kind of bouncing off of each other's ideas.
Yeah.
That's what happens in a jam as well, right? You have musical vocabulary. You have these phrases that you've learned. You have this whole bunch of musical vocabulary and grammar in front of you. Now, if what I am saying is going to bring a response out in you which makes sense with what I said, only then are we going to have a good conversation. Right? If I am talking about something and you are going off on your own tangent that has nothing to do with what I am saying, it's just not going to be fruitful at all. Right? So I feel like if we can have a good conversation together, it's more likely that we will also musically be able to have that conversation together.
100%,
It doesn't have to be technical. It could be the simplest of notes.
Yeah.
You could be playing the simplest of material.
Yeah.
But that chemistry, I feel, is the moment you start looking at it as a conversation between two people, and you're trying to get to know what that person is playing, while that person is just as curious about what you are playing. If you're trying to genuinely get to know and not be in this, no conversation can work out if one person is trying to say, look how much better I am at this than you. You wouldn't like this in a conversation.
Correct.
Why would you like this musically?
Correct.
It has to feel like both of you are bringing value to each other in that moment. Only then that chemistry is going to find its way.
Correct. You said something very interesting. You said something as feel, and you said something as skill, so to say, right? Like rephrasing. And music has both these things, right? You are teaching so that you can hone the skills of the people. But feel is something that comes with practice or patience, or like, like the same chord or same note that you might play. If I play the violin, of course, it's going to sound terrible, right? Like, but so at what point does this both best of both worlds come together?
I don't think it's a singular point. Right, it's again. I'll keep referring to the language analogy that I used a while back. Okay, you're not going to use fancy words just to communicate an idea. But at the same time, the fact that you have a fancy word in your vocabulary, which you might just bring in at the opportune moment.
Yeah.
Right. Opportune.
Yeah.
It's just going to make that conversation that much more interesting. It's not about the moment somebody starts just throwing huge technical words at you, you're going to zone out of a conversation. Right? So it's never about just technical. It's about, can I get my idea across? And in getting that idea across, if I bring in a bunch of words that enhance the meaning of what I'm trying to say, or really make sure that my meaning is getting through to you in a way that maybe nobody said before, or in a way that maybe sparks something within you, then this conversation is successful. Same with music. It does not have to be, see, building the vocabulary is the technical exercise, right? What we do when we're watching a movie is, if you hear 100%. Some word that you've never heard before, if you are the curious kind, you're going to pause the film for a second, just Google it or open the dictionary and whatever, you're going to find out what that word means. You're doing the same in music. Why did that line sound so good? Wait, let me pause this music for a second. Let me bring out my instrument. Let me try it out and try to understand why that line worked. And maybe later in some conversation that I'm having with another musician, I might feel like that line deserves to be added because it's going to add value to what we're doing right now. Absolutely. So that is, you need technique, because without technique, you can't have feel, right? You need technique, which is so thoroughly practiced that now you're not thinking about it anymore. You're just feeling it and it comes across.
So when you're on stage, what do you choose? Because I mean, sometimes, I see so many young people who are superb, like extremely talented,
right.
And they're just ripping probably the guitar, or like just like going crazy with the solos on the drums. But I mean, can you connect?
Yeah. And that is where that musical maturity as a concept kind of comes in, right? It's, I don't know, I don't want to sound like an old guy, but yeah, when you're young, you want to be as virtuoso as possible, just like show off with your really big jumps, because that's, even as a personality in your 20s or in your teens and your 20s, you're trying to show, even with your clothing, with your car, with whatever, whatever way you want, with whatever your medium of expression is, you're trying to show that you're big, you're something, you're someone, you're in that zone. So everything that you do is a little larger than life. But go towards the later stage musicians, and especially people who've been around for a very long time, you see a certain amount of humility in a 70-year-old musician. They'll not be dressed too fancy, especially on a day-to-day basis. They'll be super simple because they found something more within their instruments. You'll rarely see a 70-year-old musician shredding it, going virtuoso. They'll play simple lines, but those lines will have so much weight and so much nuance to it that can only come from experience. So I don't think either of them are wrong in their place. It is the general progression of life. And that is just visible through your instrument.
You spoke as music as language, right? If you think as music as a language, and violin is probably the medium to communicate. There are different cultures, and different cultures have different languages. For example, south of India, there are so many different languages. In India, generally, there are so many different languages. Where your teaching method comes from, Japan.
Yeah,
Japan has got so many different traditions, values, cultures. East Asia, for that matter, then Western classical, right? And violin is like a great amalgamation of all these things, right? You see violin as an instrument in Carnatic music, Hindustani music. You see it in Western classical. You see it towards Far East.
Correct.
So when you get all of these things together, and when you want to communicate through a language, how does it translate?
So I feel like the general success of violin as an instrument comes from the fact that it has been used in such a versatile manner is because, let's keep violin aside for a second. What's the most popular instrument in the world?
Piano, guitar, voice, of course,
right?
Yeah.
People have been speaking and singing in every part of the world.
Correct.
Before
anything.
Before language. We've been singing and communicating through song well before language and grammar and all of these things kind of came into being. The violin is an instrument that is closest to the human voice. It does not have frets. Just like we don't have frets in our vocal cords, right? We go between pitches, and that is what the violin is capable of. And because it's bowed, it uses a bow. It sounds very similar to voice, right? There are plucked fretless instruments, but the moment you start plucking it, it doesn't sound like speaking or singing anymore. So violin is, because it's a bowed stringed instrument that does not have any frets, it's super close to the human voice. And which is what made the instrument really go to all of these different places. Because it did not matter what tuning system was being used. No matter what your tuning system is, the violin can adapt to it. Because there's no frets. You can go microtonal, you can have these bends and movements like you would in naturally while singing. And which is why so many different cultures were so quick to take up the violin, because whatever, the vocalist is singing this line, a violinist can try to mimic that and do it in the same way. So the violin definitely traveled, and the success of the instrument is generally because it sounds so much like the voice. And when it comes to using it in different formats, again, we know of so many instruments, we know of so many different languages, right? It's just the human voice, right? Can you speak Scandinavian right now?
No.
Right? Oh, you have a voice, you have vocal cords, you have a tongue. Speak Scandinavian. Right? You can try. You might try based on whatever.
Just the way we try the violin.
So same with the instrument. Just because I know how to play the violin a certain manner, does not mean that I will be able to play it in a different way. So which is what I every now and then I'll receive an enquiry for a Carnatic violinist. We're looking for a Carnatic violinist for a recording. Like I play the Western classical fashion. I don't, and they're like, oh, it's the violin. Why don't you play it? I'm like, right. Just because I have a voice doesn't mean I know how to speak Tamil. You have to learn the grammar. You have to learn how to speak the language. just exactly the same way. Just because I know how to play the violin in a particular way does not necessarily mean that I'll be able to play it in a way that it's used in a different culture, because it's the same as a language.
Correct. So this also brings me to a point that you also emphasize on the fact that you want to make music accessible to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So how does this again come into?
I want to make music accessible.
Yeah.
What you do with that music, see, the technical know-how is how to create good sound from the violin, is what I want to teach. Now, once you know how to make the instrument create good sound, then you feel like, oh, I feel like I'm more drawn towards Romanian, towards gypsy music.
Yeah.
You'll either listen to it a lot and try to teach yourself, or you'll really research, try to find a teacher that teaches in the gypsy way.
Yeah.
Maybe you find Arabic style of playing the violin kind of sounds very. That's something that draws me out. As long as you know how to play the instrument, then you yourself will figure it out. You will reach out to the people that you feel are going to add value to you.
Yeah.
I don't want to limit. I don't want to say one style is better than any other. Yeah. All of them are just different ways of playing the instrument. So I just want to create the foundation of the instrument, understand how the instrument works, how to make good sound, how is your hand supposed to move, how your fingers supposed to be placed in a way that can make sure that that whatever you're playing sounds good. Now, once you know how to sound good, then go for it. learn whichever way you want.
We live in an internet era, right? So if you ask me, I have learned most of my instrument online. Yeah. So according to you, how much of an importance does online learning hold versus an in-person learning?
I think there's pros and cons to both.
Okay.
Right? The pros to online learning is exactly like Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Netflix versus cable.
Yeah.
If you want to watch a movie right now, you can watch that movie.
Correct.
Cable pay, you have to wait.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 months later, sometimes the movie that you want to watch is going to have 100 ads in between. Right? You had to do it that way. Netflix has made it possible to get it immediately. That's what online is doing. So for people that have that kind of curiosity, online is a great way to learn, because you don't want to wait another week before your next class. Right? Online is an exceptional way to learn. And bring online with an offline teacher. So your technique is being corrected in person, because especially with instruments like the violin, it's very important for the teacher to be in the same space.
Yeah.
Because is the hand moving the correct way? Is the fingers, the technique of certain things? When you're teaching somebody online, any of these Meet platforms, the sound is only as good as the microphone you're providing, and a lot of these platforms will also attenuate sound, like everything. If you're playing something soft, it'll bring it up. If you're playing something really loud, it'll bring it down. So I don't know if the student is playing soft or loud, right? So a lot of these intricacies will be a lot harder to cover, so it's better to do that in person. But the student is not bound to me in any way in what they want to learn. Right? This, again, like I said, once they know how to create good sound, they can just go online. I want to learn whichever song they want to listen to. They'll find violin tutorials. They'll find staff notation, because they've been coming here for a while. They know how to read staff notation. So they find stuff online and they're trying it out by themselves. It's amazing. Like there is no downside to this. I feel like a good balance between the two, because the internet is feeding curiosity in the best of ways.
Yeah.
You just have availability and access to so many incredible resources that you'd be stupid to not use them.
Yeah, 100%. But then also there is a fact that like what I struggled with the most was the kind of flow or the structured way of, especially YouTube, I mean, there are playlists which, people swear by, I would swear by. But I think it's person to person.
Of course.
If you have the curiosity, you have that, hunger, you will find a way.
You are going to find a way. Yeah.
I mean,
and sometimes it might take longer.
Yeah.
Because you start something, realize, maybe this isn't for me.
Yeah.
So you take a step in this direction, you realize, okay, you have to come back and then take it. But no knowledge is ever wasted.
Yeah.
Right? You might feel like, this is not the direction I want to be heading in. But whatever you've learned in your tiny little travel in that direction is going to be helpful somewhere else.
Correct. You said no knowledge is ever wasted, but then like half knowledge is worse than,
No, I think half knowledge isn't the problem.
Yeah.
The problem is the overconfidence that comes from half knowledge. Right? We know of the mastery curve, right? Right when you've started something, your confidence is super high.
Yeah.
You're like, I can do this.
Yeah.
It's only when you've done something for a few months or a few years, you realize that you don't really know too much.
Yeah.
And you're there. Then comes the imposter syndrome. Then comes overcoming the imposter syndrome. And maybe slowly you start getting more and more confidence about your level of skill. And true masters, their level of confidence in their skill is actually really low because they are super humble about it. Right? So half knowledge is not the problem. The overconfidence that comes along with half knowledge, the blatant confidence that people can say something without really understanding or without really knowing much in depth about that subject, that I feel is way more dangerous. So no knowledge is ever wasted, but if you've learned something, don't pretend you've learned or don't pretend to know everything.
There are thousands of instruments out there. Why did you choose violin?
I'll tell you what. This is, I don't know. I feel like at times cosmic interference. Because I am not from musical family.
Yeah, you are an engineer.
Yeah.
No musical background.
No musical background. I have no musical or creative, so to speak, people. I feel like my family members are very creative, but not in the creative fields, not in creative pursuits. In a financial way. People with ordinary jobs, and so I come from this kind of a background, and my mother, again, really cool with the way that she thought about her thought process towards raising me, because she tried putting me in for tabla classes, for flute classes, for this, that, kept trying.
I think it's typical Marathi family, की तबल्याला जायचं,
पेटीचा क्लास लावायचा, गायचा क्लास लावायचा,
काय करायचं ते पुढे डिसाइड कर, पण हे करायचं
असतं. So it was one of those, but I think the real changing turning point was a classmate of mine was playing in school for like a gathering, assembly, whatever. And to me, like, I'd seen so many people playing the guitar, the drums, the keys. There's something very different about this instrument. So I asked him, where are you learning? He says, my mom teaches.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was for the longest time just me and a few friends from school going to Chinmay's mom's place. It wasn't a formal class. We didn't know what the Suzuki Method was. We didn't know what ABRSM, Trinity, but nothing. We knew nothing.
Just go
because it's Chinmay's mom. That's it. आम्ही तेजू मावशीकडे चाललोय.
Amazing.
It was just, म्हणजे आपण आपल्या मामा मावशीच्या घरी जितक्या इजनी जातो तेवढ्याच इजनी मी, किंवा शाळेतल्या मित्राच्या घरी जेवढ्या इजनी जातो तेवढ्याच सरलतेने आम्ही तेजू मावशीकडे गेलो.
करेक्ट.
आणि त्यांनी सुद्धा आम्हाला म्हणजे चिन्मयचा मित्र किंवा स्वतःचा मुलगा असल्यासारखं ट्रीट केलंय ऑन सो मेनी डेज. लाईक शी इज नॉट बीन अ टीचर figure. She is, I keep saying this on multiple occasions, she is a mother figure for me. She's not a teacher figure. I mean, everything I know about the instrument is courtesy of her, obviously. So she has been a very important teacher in my life, but she transcends that teacher, fakta teacher wala relationship. She is she's been or has contributed to my life like she had a mother bond with me, it's
Nice.
so it just happened. म्हणजे there was no thought behind it. There was फक्त 10वी मध्ये लोकांनी सोडलं जे मी सोडलं नाही.
Oh, that is key.
That is key. I didn't feel like quitting.
Why do people leave 10वी? I mean, I'm sure you must be getting so many students who quit after 10th or 12th.
The biggest reason is now you've become more serious about something.
Okay.
Right. I know. Scam, because you're 20 something and also you're not serious about anything. But see, 10th and 12th standard examinations itself are major turning points.
Correct.
In every kid's life, whether Indian or outside.
Yeah.
That 10 plus 2 examinations are very important turning points.
Yeah.
So people do tend to take a few months off to prepare for these examinations, and it's a super important examination. So what happens when you've taken that time off, especially the 10th standard vacation, till then, whatever your parents are saying, you have to do it. Right? Your parents are going to pick you up and drop you for this class twice a week. Whether it's raining, snowing, hailing, what doesn't matter. They're going to pick you up and drop you to that class twice a week.
Yeah.
In 11th, you get a certain amount of freedom, a little amount of flexibility. You've also reached that rebellious teenage phase. I'm not going to listen to everything my mother tells me to.
Yeah.
So you just end up not listening to certain things that your parents are telling you just rebelling for the sake of it. Also, maybe you've chosen a different line, and now because you've become slightly older, you have this opinion and you know how to voice it now, right? Maybe you've hated the fact that they've been dropping you to these classes for all this time. But now you're 16, 17, you want to be taken seriously, you're getting close to being an adult, and you have this opinion and you want to voice it out. Right? I'm not saying that it's a bad thing necessarily.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't want to paint teenage rebellion as like rebel without a cause thing, because it's super important. These kids are now learning to say no to things, right? Yeah. So, which is where a lot of people kind of quit. And then college. So many people move out, go to different places. Their schedules are now all over the place. These two are big reasons, big changes in any child's life. And eventually,
life happens.
Life happens, right? So, to me, again, I was just extremely fortunate that I was in college in Pune. If I had gone somewhere, I would not have been a violinist. Or maybe, I would have just continued as a hobby violinist. I don't think I would have become a full-time musician if I'd got some other college.
So how do you choose, okay, this is what I want to do as a parent of a teenager. Okay, this is what my kid is very good. What, like, are there any parameters? Are there any things? Are there you choose music as a career, or I want to choose music as a career. So when does that? Because see, I mean, life is gonna keep happening, right? Like every time there is something, things are going to come your way.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be 10, there's going to be 12, then there's going to be college, then you have a girlfriend, then you'll have probably a boyfriend, like whatever.
Yeah.
And then you'll get married, you'll have children, you'll have this, you'll have that.
And then the kid's 10th and the kid's 12th. And the cycle repeats.
The cycle repeats. So when do you find time? When do you feel, okay, this is the career that I want to choose? In all of this, where do you find time to practice? And bunch of questions.
When you find the answer to this, let tell me about it. No, because I don't think there is one right approach to this, right? I think all of us are completely very different. All of us are different people.
So how do you prioritize, basically?
It's okay. Let me break this down a little bit. There's people who eat 5 times a day. There's people who eat 2 times a day. Both of them are extremely happy in their own places. I don't want to comment on which is better than the other, because the 2 time might be eating something super unhealthy and the 5 times might be eating something very, very healthy. So I'm not saying one is better or worse than the other, but these are 2 different kinds of people. There's people who do fasts for an entire day, for whatever, there's so many dietary choices. And yet all of us find a way to carry on.
Yeah.
Right? All of us find a way to live through it. All of us find people around us that are supporting of these choices. Right? If I have a friend who eats once a day, I'm not going to be like, oh, eat the second time.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. And rather, if I was the kind of person that's going to say, eat 3 times, we're not going to stay friends. So eventually you're going to have people around you that support your way of life.
Let me put it the other way. Okay. So like in schools, probably you are encouraged to like do something. Say a person might see, okay, I'm good at football, or say I'm good at math, and that's how you choose your career, right? So how does PSM enable students to see, okay, you are good at probably this and you should continue with this? It can be keyboards, it can like piano, guitar, violin, drums, a different way of playing a violin. So
see, I feel like a lot of that conversation, fortunately, unfortunately, does come down to money, right? Because when I was making this choice of becoming a musician, I think my mother and I sat for a good 6 months.
Wow.
Met a lot of musicians.
Wow.
Met people who had, quote unquote, again, made it and not made it as musicians. People who had made it and not made it as engineers.
But there is never a thing that,
of course,
yeah, I mean,
it's never, which is why I did that, right? The air quotes, because there's no such thing as made it or not, but whatever. So we met a lot of people and a lot of different kinds of people. And my mother being a finance person, I had to, we talked money, we discussed money way before I made this move, and it did come down to, because for me the plan was finish engineering, go to Germany, do my masters, and whatever, figure it out from there. So we looked at the college that I'd gotten into in Germany, the mean salary of the people who are passing out from the master's course, and that's the kind of life, that's the kind of trajectory you'll have there. As a musician, it's not going to be the same. I'm well aware that I'm not making the kind of money right now that I would have been making if I was an engineer. But I knew that back then. It's not dawned on me today that, I would have made so much more money, because that's going to manifest as regret. It's because we'd done this exercise for a considerable amount of time. We knew that there was going to be a difference between these two. And that difference, is that difference the cost of your happiness?
I have a difference of opinion here. Okay. I feel you're just always one piece of art away from making it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna
No. You can't, but you can't at the same time can't count on it.
Yeah, you can't count on it.
So think of it as what's the median? Don't think of it as outliers.
No, because see, as an engineer, there are say 1,000 engineers. Okay, out of those 1,000, only 10 might be like what they are, like what other 990 are dreaming of. Those
correct.
Like even in our field, of course, there'll be 1,000 musicians, and like not all 1,000 will be as successful as the 10 musicians that are there.
Correct.
It just depends on the practice, the number of.
But it's so, look at 1,000 engineers. What are 600 of them making? What are the figures that 600 are making? And look at 1,000 musicians, and what are the figures that 600 musicians are making? And there is still a disparity between them.
That is there.
Right? I'm not looking at the outliers.
But then you find ways, right?
Of course. 100%.
I mean, so what are these different avenues that a musician generally would generate revenue or living out of?
See, when I was entering this space, I felt performing, teaching. What else can there be? And every single day that I spend in this space, I realize there's so much more to it. It's not just performing, teaching, or composing anymore. There's so much more to it. We see so many music festivals.
Yeah.
There's so many musicians that are working behind the scenes at these music festivals. Because you cannot have non-musicians working in that space, because it's a music festival. It has to be done. If it has to be done right, it has to be done by people who know what's happening, right? Who are the right people to invite? It's only a person who's been on stage a lot that can tell you what can go wrong on stage?
Hmm.
And how do you make sure that these things don't happen?
Hmm.
This has to come from an experienced musician,
Yeah.
right? So many of these jobs
Hmm.
are musicians. So many jobs in radio are musicians. There's game development companies that hire
Musicians.
so many musicians because game development is not only about using music,
Yeah.
right? Or it's not only about composing music for it. There's entire teams that are working on the music of a certain thing, right? Things like Foley, things like working in at studios in different capacities. There's so many jobs as a musician.
But here is what I want to ask you, which is very important according to me. You're a musician, okay? Would you rather play your instrument and master your instrument, or would you rather then go to like I want to be a sound engineer because I want to record my instrument right? Oh, I want to go to a music production because I want to be good at my instrument. I get this so many times, right? So in the industry, if you look at any business, there are hierarchies and there are roles specified. There's a marketing manager, there's a salesperson, there is a recruiter, HR, there is finance, right? Now the CEO of the company, who's like the instrumentalist, wants to do all these things. Okay, but eventually you're going to hire people,
100%.
right? So what is your idea behind a person who's thinking ki, I'm a guitarist, I want to become see, eventually you might love it, right? But I'm doing sound engineering because I know how to play an instrument.
Okay, so let's use this corporate hierarchy that you just said. The CEO may not know every nitty-gritty about everything that happens in the company. But a good CEO knows enough about all of these different branches to still be in command. Right? So you need to know as a skill, if you're getting into the space, you're a musician, as a skill, you need to know the basics of recording, the basics of sound design, the basics of, because that's the time that we live in, like the basics of production, basics of whatever, if you want to get into the space of it all, right? You can again very well just say that I am just going to be a performer. I'm not going to get diverted by any of these things. I'm not going to get distracted by any of these things. I'm just going to focus on my craft and become a brilliant musician. And there's others around me who will figure out how to record me and how to, it's their jobs, right? It all kind of comes down to where you are as a person and what is your calling, right? Because I love playing the violin, but I don't love it in a way that says that I'm going to practice this 8 hours a day and do only and only this and become the best violinist in the world. That is not where I find that's not my motivation. That's not where I find my driving force. For me, a lot of my driving force is the joy behind playing the instrument and sharing that joy. Which is where the school, which is where the
entire foundation of your,
right. Which is why I don't think of myself as a performer or a teacher. I try to do both of these things because one, I love the stage, but I love teaching. So I love, like for me, that is a big part of my calling, right? Which is why it's a conscious choice that I've taken to build this school and to teach.
Nice,
right? I love composing.
Yeah, I was just going to come to that.
Okay. And in order to be a composer in today's day and age, again, if I can learn all the theory in the world, but because I don't play the keys or because I don't play any other instrument, for me, I had to learn about DAWs and about a little bit of sound design, understanding what ADSR means. As a violinist, I've never come across that, right? I don't really care about that as a violinist. But it's something that it's these little things that I had to kind of learn about. Yeah. Because being a producer in today's day and age involves knowing these things. If I were to write only violin scores, I'm not going to get as many opportunities, right? So if I want to find my way as a composer, I need to know what kind of sound I'm liking. That's what I'm going to try to recreate.
Yeah.
And then while I'm recreating these things through my experimentations, I'm going to find what my sound actually is. And that is, for me, again, only comes through trying it out by myself. It's also a need of a necessity. It's also a necessity thing, right? I don't have the budgets.
Yeah.
If I get a project, I don't have the budgets to have 10 musicians under me. Say, okay, you understand how a DAW works. You do it. You deal with it. I don't want to. I'm not going to. I'm just going to hum a tune and you're going to go ahead with it. I'm not financially, I'm not in that place in my life. You need to have that team in order to execute a project. And I don't want to rely on a team right now. If I can upskill myself to be able to take these jobs, eventually, of course, if, and I hope it happens someday, I get a big enough project, I know I will need a team. But until then, I don't want to be stuck with, oh, you're not doing the right thing. Okay, then, sir, what is the right thing? I don't know. You're supposed to. I don't want to be in that place in my life. Sure, you might know a little bit more about me in this thing. You'll know a little bit more about me in this thing. But collectively, I know a lot about what my team is doing. And until then, at least I can do all of these things by myself.
Nice.
As much as I can. And it also helps that I'm a nerd and I'm just hungry for random information. So it's great. That works in my favor.
So we were talking about violin as a solo instrument, but it also fits in amazingly in a section, right?
Yeah.
So what is the logic behind a section? What exactly is a section? How does a section fit inside a song? How does a song fit inside an album? How does an album fit inside this entire universe?
Okay, so let's start from the universe.
Let's go other way.
4 billion years.
Okay,
so see, the way the string section is built, you've got 2 violins, viola, and a cello, which was the original string quartet, and then eventually the double bass got added into it. But if you look at the original quartet, those are the ranges of the human voice: soprano, alto, tenor, and bass. A lot of the instruments of that time had again come in because of the necessity of that time. A lot of the instruments were made as replacements for voice. Music wasn't written for instruments in, say, the Baroque, pre-Baroque era, say the Renaissance, is when music started being written for instruments. Before that, it was mainly like written music was for the voice. So that's the music that has survived. Which is why when instruments started coming, or people started composing for music, for instruments, they were composing in the way that they knew best, which is composing for voice. But let me replace voice. Let me replace the soprano with a string instrument. So replacement for voice was the violin. So violin, viola, cello. So 2 violins, so acting as soprano and alto. The viola acting as the tenor and cello acting as the bass. So soprano, alto, tenor, bass. Same happens with woodwind instruments, where you've got the flutes on top, and then the clarinets and the bassoons doing the lower downs. Same happens with French horn and trumpets being high and tubas being low. So these are all soprano, alto, tenor, bass. They're all originating from the choir and the instruments. And then later on in the 18th, 19th century is when instruments started going outside of the human range. And that's when the double bass came into the picture, because no human voice can reach the double bass ka sound. Maybe very rarely, right? Even the lowest notes of the cello are slightly outside of the general human baritone or bass human range. But double bass is way out. And that is, which is why now you look at that evolution and you come to the 20th century and you see sub being used, because now the instruments, the ranges are just getting larger outside of the human voice, because before that people just didn't know to think beyond the range of the human voice. So which is why sub now is so important, because one, we have the instruments or we have the equipment to record this. We have the equipment to recreate this. And we have the technical know-how to write this.
Amazing.
So yeah, it kind of fits in the same way as voice did back in the day. It's just kind of...
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice. How does string section fit in a song then? Because it's literally taking everything, right?
Yeah.
Then where does it fit in a song? What does it do to a song?
So I try to look at these things as, whenever I teach theory or composition, I'm looking at these things as ingredients, right? Understand, it's very important to listen to different kinds of string sections, because string section isn't one sound.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Hans Zimmer using the string section, and then Olafur Arnalds using a string section, and
Shardul Bapat using a string section.
And the way, suppose George Gershwin used a string section, Beethoven used it. Like all of them have used the same instruments, but just done such different work with all of it. Just created such different sounds with all of them. So it's not one sound. It's kind of like understanding what modak tastes like, right? You know what modak tastes like.
Yeah.
Now, where do you use it?
Yeah.
Correct? It's a sweet thing. Or what do you use it with? Is what you're essentially asking. Ki, what do you use a string section with? Ki, okay, maybe modak is not as versatile, so maybe not the best of examples. But say tandarachi bhakri. Okay. So it is versatile, but man, mutton curry and tandarachi bhakri, that combo. Right? Tandarachi bhakri and gawarchi bhaji, maybe not. Like jwarichi bhakri and gawarchi bhaji works way better. But tandarachi bhakri and maybe not. So tandarachi bhakri, so you have to understand what tandarachi bhakri does. Then you try it with a few different things. Understand what it works with and what it doesn't. And somebody has told you somewhere that, oh, by the way, this works great with this. So try that approach at least. See what others are saying about it. Try it out. You might just come up with something that is entirely different and new.
Correct.
But it's you have to understand what ingredient you're working with. Understand the common combinations first. Once you've got these down, then you can start experimenting and use it in your own fashion.
Got it. So very interesting, because when we cook, we sometimes put in a little more of something.
Yeah.
Which is a very common mistake.
Yeah.
So what are these common mistakes in the composition of strings sections?
One of the... Okay, I don't want to start with mistake.
Yeah.
Because...
One of the kind of things that you can look at. Probably.
Is... I mean, using strings as a way to fill up space. Right?
क्या करना है, string section डाल दो, भर जाएगा गाना. It's not, it's so much more than filler material. String section is so much more than just... And I'll tell you exactly where this kind of came in. Is where using string section became available on VSTs. That is where I feel like it began. Because the moment you have an actual string section, you're paying through the nose. Yeah.
Right? When you have to hire 100 musicians.
Yeah.
Imagine the amount of money that you have to shell out.
Yeah.
You're not going to waste that kind of money on filler material. The kind of studio that you have to hire, the kind of engineers that you need to hire, the kind of musicians you need to hire, recording engineers, composers, arrangers, everything that you need to hire to work with comes at a massive cost.
Yeah.
Will you spend that much money on filler material? So my advice to my students in a lot of ways with strings is, or with any instrument for that matter, if you're producing something, if you're composing something, pretend that you are actually paying for it. That way you're going to make every single line that you're giving to every instrument meaningful. You're not going to write something just because, oh, it's free, it's on the VST, it's available very easily, I can just do good and do it out. Right? Imagine you've got some of the best musicians, you've got the LA Philharmonic sitting in front of you. And now play your string section out to yourself. Would you give this music for them to play? Do you think they, like, what you've written is worthy of giving to LA Philharmonic to play? And if it's not, why are you using it? If the part that you're writing is not that good, don't write it just because it's free. Why are you doing it? Do it with a purpose. And if you've done it with that purpose, then you should have no problem handing that score to an LA Philharmonic saying, ki, you know what, I know what I've done is right. And I know that now when y'all play it, it is going to be one worthy of you. It's going to, it's going to be a good use of your time. I'm not wasting your time by giving you this score. Now you're working with something. You've created something.
Amazing. You spoke of VSTs. VSTs are long gone now, since VST in the era of AI. There are so many applications out there that are not only replicating, but like just mind-blowing stuff is coming out. Okay. What is your take on it? Probably pros, probably cons, probably how the way you look at this entire world that has just opened up.
It's incredible.
Okay.
Right? I feel like it's just opened up a whole bunch of probabilities and possibilities. I would say ki it's just as important as being able to record on your laptop or being able to run a DAW. Like the kind of revolution that a DAW brought, and making it easy and accessible to a laptop. Because before that, recording meant going to a studio.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to practice writing strings, you had to have a string section in front of you.
Yeah.
How did I learn to compose theory or to compose for string sections, or how did I learn music theory? It's only made possible because I had it on my laptop. Right? I didn't have the resources to go out into the world and say, okay, I need 4 musicians because I want to learn music theory.
Correct.
I didn't have the know-how to do that. I didn't have the resources to do that. It only became possible because I had those softwares on my laptop.
Yeah.
Right? So much incredible music has come out because music making has become accessible. Right? If it wasn't for that ease of access to creating music, a lot of composers that we know today would never have come out. There, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like AI is nothing more than a tool that's making the art of making music more accessible. Right? And finally, it comes down to human creativity. Because how you use a tool is where the human creativity comes in. Right? People who are hunting with their hand were probably looking down at people who had made these spears and like, real people, real only men hunt with hands, and we don't use these
spears,
and artificial things. That's exactly it, because it's nothing more than a tool. And finally, how you use that tool can never be taken away. So AI is not going to take away your job if you can tell AI what you want in a way that only you can think. Then it's a tool.
You use it.
How you use it, right? It's making it so much easier for you to make music. But you cannot do it if you have terrible ideas. If you have good musical ideas and good musical taste, you're going to know what to tell this AI chatbot or AI assistant of yours, AI music maker friend that you have. If you don't give the right directions, if you don't have a good music taste, you're not going to be able to make something that's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's a tool. Use it as a tool.
Amazing. Do you use AI in your school for students, probably as a backing track, or like probably?
I'm first trying to learn as much as I can by myself, so that I can use it in ways to implement it for my students. Right now, I'm not at a place where, like, I'm developing a practice assistant for my students.
Mm.
But that's going to take a few months.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have the resources to do it. So I'm trying out as much as I can. But I'm building a practice assistant for my students.
It's a very amazing thing.
Yeah, like they can just practice in front of an iPad, and
Yeah,
you have this little AI thing that's just seeing, okay, your hand did not move the right way. Your fingers,
you did not. Your note was semitone. Or
was a
like
few semitones off, or it'll just read through or watch other performances of the same piece.
Wow.
Compare it against those performances and say, maybe why don't you try using more bow for this passage, lesser bow for this passage, more pressure for this dynamics. So as a suggestive, again, they don't need to be then in person
with,
constantly. Twice a week of classes, and then the other classes, the practice is happening properly because you have this. It's a tool.
Amazing. Apart from this, what all are the other future plans for PSM?
There's so much, man. There's so much that I want to do with this space. There's one major thing is I want to kind of get into co-working spaces, or even a lot of these big offices, bigger corporations have take mental health of their employees very seriously, and they'll give all kinds of perks and discounts and whatnot, where or they'll give all of these health benefits that if you're walking 7,000 steps per day and whatever, you've maintained this for X number of days, you get a Y% discount or some cash bonus or some prize or this, that. They're incentivizing people to be healthier.
Correct.
To make healthier choices. I want to incorporate that idea with music education. Okay, suppose there's this corporation, this big company with a few thousand employees. My teachers will come into your offices once a week. They'll be there. No syllabus. No, I've developed a new syllabus that is devoid of all kinds of theory. We are learning using shapes and colors and numbers, right? Making it super simple, super accessible.
Wow.
So this syllabus gets taught in these offices where you don't need to know a word of theory. Will not teach you a word of theory. Let learning theory and learning more in depth be for students who want to take it up more seriously. But for people who just want to unwind, I'm gonna come to. I'm having a stressful day. I'm gonna find my way to this music room in the office. Take up that guitar. There's these little colors and shapes all over, and there's some book that makes sense of these colors and shapes. And I'm just gonna play some song.
Wow.
And again, the way this book is written is within 30 minutes, whether you know how to play an instrument or not, within 30 to 45 minutes, you'll be able to play a song. Wow. This is the kind of way that we are developing this syllabus. So we want music to reach everyone, and without bringing you down with all of this theory and technical knowledge. Let that be for people who want to learn more, but let's make the barrier of entry for learning an instrument even lower. Just everybody should be able to play an instrument and get that same joy that I get from playing an instrument. I just want to share that. So maybe run this with schools, run this with offices, just make the community of musicians a lot larger.
Wow, amazing. You have, do you have any last few words words of wisdom, words of advice that you want to give? But apart from what your future plans are, which is great. I mean, anything in terms of practice, in terms of pressure, in terms of whatever.
I don't know. I think it all comes down to what your sense of balance is. Whether it is practice, whether it is growth, whether anything, it all comes down to
you do you.
Yeah, sense of balance. Yeah. Something that I like to say very often is you got to be happy but not content.
Oh, that hunger has to be there.
Yeah.
But you should be satisfied.
Yeah, be happy with where you are because you deserve to be happy.
Yeah.
But contentment can breed complacency.
Yeah.
And that's going to stop growth. So be happy. You don't have to be hungry all the time and hungry and miserable. You don't have to be hungry and miserable all the time. You can be hungry, but still be happy. You want more, sure. Everybody wants more. But don't let where you want to be distract you from where you are right now.
Wow.
It's so fortunate that we get to do what we do.
Yeah,
And
100%.
it's again because of competition and comparison. Instagram has not made it any easier because you're just like looking at other musicians that are far more successful than you, other people that are far more successful than you at this age. And it's so hard to get lost into all of that. But just for a second, sure, you will get there. But at least in that meanwhile.
But I mean, you'll always find people who are like way better than you at any point
Of course,
time. And
you'll find children that are way better than you. It's just these child prodigies
But
are
I mean,
just.
That's not anything that you should be any time concerned about. But yeah, I mean, that's a great way of putting it. Last but not the least, there's a round of rapid fire that I want to play.
Oh,
with you.
let's do this. Ain't no better time than 11:30 for fast moving questions.
Okay. Ready? Okay. Your biggest musical inspiration?
Beethoven.
Oh, okay, fine. That changed.
Yeah, man. I'm like, wait, where did that come from?
A musician you would like to collaborate with?
Louvet.
Okay. Your go-to adventure destination? One word to describe your journey with PSM.
Massive.
Massive. Wow. Okay, a favorite joke to tell.
Oh my god. Okay, my favorite joke, I'm gonna tell you, but I don't think it's gonna go up on this channel. It should not go up on this channel, but it's the best joke I have ever heard. Man walks into a bar looking super depressed. He's just like, and the bartender obviously asks him, "Hey, what's up? What happened? Why do you look so?" It's like, "Just give me my damn whiskey on the rocks." Bartender leaves him alone for a second. Comes back, says, "You look really, really sad. Like, what's happening?" Man just takes a deep breath, pulls out a tiny man from his pocket, pulls out a tiny piano from his pocket, and the little man starts to play the piano on the bar counter. The bartender loses his mind. He's like, "Oh my god, I've never seen anything like this. This is incredible. You have this with you and you're sad. Like, what's wrong with you?" And he's like, "Okay, just what is this? What is happening in front of me?" And the man replies, "There's a genie outside that's granting wishes." Bartender just kind of jumps over the bar, rushes out. Comes back 5 minutes later looking the same way as this previous man, just super sad, just like, looking like that. And the bartender walks up to this man and he's like, "You idiot, whatever, you rascal, you bastard, this and that. Couldn't you have told me that the genie can't hear properly? I asked for a bag of cash. He gave me a bag of ash." And this man looks at him and says, "What do you think? I asked for an 11-inch pianist."
Wow. Okay, then.
Like I said, this is not going up on the channel, but it's the best joke ever. Like, it's
amazing. This is definitely going up. Okay. Wow. Amazing. Would you rather jam in a lift, in a garage, in an auto, or in a bus?
Bus sounds great.
Amazing. A smell that makes you go crazy.
Ratrani.
Wow. The season's coming. A moment when you said, "Oh man, I don't know why I said that."
Right now, when I told that damn joke.
Oh.
Let's not put that joke.
Would you rather have a world with no music, or would you rather have a world with one song playing on loop throughout your life?
Oh shit, no music for sure.
Are you sure?
Yeah, 100%. I can't do one song. That is worse than no music. At least you just don't know the idea of it, right? It's fine.
Would you rather be fluent in your in all the instruments that you would want to play, or would you rather learn all the languages that you want to speak, that humans speak?
Instruments, 100%.
All instruments.
Every instrument. Oof, what a life.
Would you rather end an argument with a solo, or would you rather end an argument with like a dance off?
Solo. The dancing will start another argument.
Oh, okay then. If your life had a warning label, what would it be?
Idiot. Caution, idiot.
One weirdest habit that you have when nobody is watching you. Digging your nose.
Hey. I like to do the wave
when nobody's watching.
It's too
like how?
Nobody's gonna watch it ever.
A talent you wish that you had, which is completely useless.
Playing the violin.
Playing the. Oh god.
Oh no! Wait, playing the bass. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I wish you a very good evening. And okay, the strangest text that you have ever received. I don't know if this counts as a text, but this one guy, he tried to get in touch with the school number and like fees. Question mark. Like, sir, which instrument are you looking for? Fees. Like, bro, we teach, fees are different for different instruments. Which instrument are you looking for? Fees! And on GPay, I get a message that says, sent to you. Like, it's the text sent to you with whatever, 2 lakh this time. And it's like, he's written paid, then that check mark wala emoji he's put, and then... So,
wow.
Like...
He's really gone out of the way.
Yeah, really like he's done all of that to make it really look like
authentic.
He's sent me the money, right? But it's a text. You can text someone on Google Pay also, right? Yeah. So I've received that text, and he sent 2 lakhs. Wow. Now he's like, "Oh, galti se I sent 2 lakhs. So send 1,80,000 back." And I'm just like, okay, like I knew this was a scam from miles away. Like he's just saying, fees. This is a scam. I know this from miles away. But at the same time, like this is just such a bad one. It's just so bad. Like this. So I drafted the same message exactly like him. Sent to you. I wrote 1,80,000 with the check mark with the date. I drafted the same message that he had. I sent it to him. I'm like, done, sir.
Nice. What is the silliest thing that you have done for a good laugh?
I don't know.
What is a weirdest food that you have eaten? A combination of food.
I've done Shrikhanda Bhat, man. It's just...
That is still fine.
What are you saying? It's horrid.
He's done Maggie with chai, guys.
Hey, I've never done Maggie with chai.
You told me.
When? Okay. I've never done Maggie with chai. What's wrong with you?
Fine.
I had a cheesecake that was made out of cream cheese instead of cheese spread. It was made out of cheese spread instead of cream cheese. But yes. It was disgusting.
Would you rather wear the same clothes every day or... would you rather wear like a bizarre costume every day?
Define bizarre, because like
it's like okay, almost you wear the same thing almost every day. That's nowhere close to bizarre.
No, then same thing every day. I'm not wearing like a dinosaur costume.
What is one piece of advice that you give everybody? Oh, you have to do this. You have to practice. You have to do this.
Yeah,
but you never follow.
You practice every single day. Oh, yo. Man, it's so much harder.
Oh, practice is the advice.
Yeah, practice is the one, dude. I keep telling my students to practice every single day, and at the same time, I'm like, I don't think I practice 7 days a week. And on days that it goes below 4 or 5, like on weeks that it goes below 4 or 5, I'm just like, then that massive imposter syndrome starts kicking in. Like, oh my god, I'm not doing enough. Am I? It's a horrible, horrible rabbit hole to go in. But yeah, I guess practice.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much. That was amazing. On a lighter note, we ended with all that. We planned for like 45 minutes and it went almost doubled the time. Well, both of us love to talk and that's why we are here on Sound Dada. Do check out his music, his page. If people have to reach out to you, where do they find you?
Instagram, Shardul Bapat.
Thank you so much for tuning in with me and Shardul. I am Malay. And until next time, keep playing some nice music, keep your playlists fresh, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye.